The elderly man turned his head, and suddenly saw an alien sitting at the door. However, he didn't call the police, but invited the alien into his home. Then the old man poured him a glass of water. It was the first time he had seen an alien drink water. The old man was very excited, so he quickly went to the kitchen to cook 2 dishes, but the alien only ate an apple. The old man ran to the fruit store to buy a bag of apples. The benefits of eating apples need not be elaborated. Before long, the alien's illness was completely cured. Then the old man took the alien for a tour around the house. He taught it how to use the bathroom, and even prepared a room for it to sleep in. Next, the old man told the alien about his family members. His name was Baron. Although he had both sons and daughters, he lived alone. His children were busy building their careers, and rarely came back. He didn't know if the alien understood. Baron kept talking to himself, while the alien sat on the couch eating apples. At this moment, Annie, the neighbor, came over to chat with her old friend. When she glanced at the couch, Annie was startled by the blue creature before her. Baron quickly introduced the alien to Annie. He said that the alien meant no harm, and even gave it a catchy name, Dog Egg. Annie was curious about how Dog Egg came to be. Baron explained that just a few days ago, Dog Egg's spaceship had malfunctioned and crashed into his backyard. Annie could hardly believe it. Baron noticed her skepticism. He took her to the backyard, and when she saw the spaceship, Annie was completely stunned. In fact, Annie was also a lonely elderly woman. She looked at the alien, who resembled a grandson, and she liked him very much. Afterward, Dog Egg indeed added joy to her lonely life. Annie told Baron that they must not let anyone know about Dog Egg's existence, or he would surely be captured for research. Thus, the 2 elderly people kept Dog Egg as their private possession, hiding him at home and living together. Annie often brought Dog Egg new clothes, and he was also very cooperative. Dressed in clothes, Dog Egg looked somewhat human, but Annie did not yet realize that this act of kindness now would later help her resolve a problem. One day, the village committee called Annie, because Annie had been expressing her loneliness. She hoped they could send a volunteer to talk with her. The committee had not found a suitable candidate, but today a young man happened to volunteer. Annie was very happy to hear this news. She invited the young man in immediately. A few words from the young man made Annie very happy. Then, he said he needed to use the bathroom. He was gone for quite a while. Annie was worried to check the situation. She unexpectedly caught the young man stealing her pension. Fearing that the thief might kill her, Annie was terrified and ran away, but the thief spotted her. He chased after her. Annie's physical strength was no match for the young man. She was tackled to the ground before she could even escape her house. At this moment, Dog Egg next door noticed the scene. In the next moment, the blue Dog Egg seemed to do something from afar. Before long, he returned to his original color. Then, the police received the report and arrived at Annie's house. As soon as they entered, they saw a bloody scene. The thief had already been shot in the head and was dead. Blood was splattered everywhere. In contrast, Annie had only been a bit frightened and was completely unharmed. However, it was hard to explain how a 70-year-old woman could have shot a young man. Moreover, there was no evidence pointing to Annie as the murderer. Subsequently, the police simply took the body away and didn't detain Annie. But Annie knew that only Dog Egg could have done this, so she hurried over to Baron's house. As soon as Annie saw Dog Egg, she hugged him tightly. Annie cried while thanking him for saving her life. As for Dog Egg's origins, everything must start from a few days ago. That night, Baron was sleeping soundly in bed, when suddenly a loud noise woke him up. Baron rushed to the backyard to see what was happening. As he pushed the door open, he was stunned by what he saw. There was an alien spaceship in his backyard. He thought he was dreaming. Baron stood in front of the spaceship and confirmed several times, but everything proved to be real, so he hurriedly called the police. However, when the police heard Baron's account, they told him that elderly people should just go to bed at night and not cause trouble for society. Since the police didn't believe him, Baron called his daughter again, but his daughter was too busy to even answer the phone. He left a message and hung up. Baron then returned to the yard. He wanted to confirm whether the spaceship really existed. An alien crawled out of the spaceship because it was uncertain whether he would attack humans. Baron dared not go over. The next day, he went to the village committee to tell the village chief and others about it, but everyone thought he was just getting confused in his old age. They didn't believe what he was saying at all. Thus, the alien lay in the yard for 3 days without anyone caring for it. Until the 4th night, the alien's wounds had healed a bit. When it saw Baron before it, it looked up at him with pleading eyes. This scene filled Baron with compassion. He He ran inside to get a blanket, and poured a glass of warm water for the alien. The next day, Baron woke up, and went to check on the situation in the yard. At this moment, the alien was crouched at the door, wrapped in the blanket. Seeing how pitiful the alien looked, Baron couldn't bear it, but he didn't dare to approach and help it.
Do you want to come inside, 'cause it's warmer?
So the alien seemed to understand Baron's words. Then it crawled into the house. The alien curled up next to the couch inside the house. Then the scene at the beginning unfolded. With Dog Egg around, Baron's smile gradually increased. But what he didn't know was that at this moment, the space agency had discovered the landing of extraterrestrial civilization on Earth. They were searching for the alien spaceship nearby. On the other side, Baron's daughter was shopping at the fruit store, and started chatting with the cashier. The cashier said, Baron had been buying a lot of apples recently, so he probably won't be able to finish them in a year. Moreover, he had been talking about the alien all day, as if it were completely true. After hearing this, his daughter came to Baron's house. Baron hadn't seen his daughter in a long time. He was very happy to see her, but his daughter insisted on taking him for a medical checkup. Although he emphasized that he was healthy, his daughter still wanted to take him. As they argued back and forth, suddenly someone called his daughter. Sure enough, she said she had urgent matters to attend to. Baron was already used to her doing this. He had originally wanted to take her to see the alien. After that, Annie often came to Baron's house to chat with Dog Egg. Although she didn't get any responses, she felt happy just to have someone to talk to. It turned out that living alone was really too lonely. One day, Dog Egg took a pen and started drawing. When he handed the drawing to Baron, Baron was completely puzzled. After all, it only depicted a dog. He couldn't interpret any information from it. Perhaps it was just because Dog Egg liked puppies, and drew it to give to him. Then, Baron went to the backyard to see what Dog Egg was doing. He was using a screwdriver to repair the spaceship. Baron approached to chat with Dog Egg. After thanking Dog Egg for the drawing, Baron asked if Dog Egg missed home. Then he told him not to worry. The spaceship would definitely be repaired. At this moment, Baron was called by his daughter to go to the hospital. His daughter said she had scheduled some tests for him, but when they arrived at the hospital, Baron realized that the tests were just a way to treat him like a child. They asked him a bunch of questions to check for dementia. He was very angry about this. It was one thing for his daughter not to believe him, but now she thought her father was stupid. His daughter stated that aging could lead to such possibilities. She was only looking out for his well-being. The father and daughter ended up having an argument. Ultimately, they parted ways unhappily. Then, Baron angrily walked back home. He returned home and found Dog Egg. Baron vented his frustrations to Dog Egg. He expressed that his daughter actually thought he was ill, but he felt perfectly healthy. Why couldn't his daughter believe him, and spend more time with him? Dog Egg quietly listened. Even if he understood, he couldn't speak. At this moment, Baron wished someone could comfort him, so he called his son who was abroad. But the father and son hadn't seen each other in over a decade. They rarely spoke on the phone. The son who answered the call clearly didn't know what to say. They awkwardly chatted for a while. After hanging up, Baron felt extremely disappointed. His children rarely came back under normal circumstances. Now, he had no one to talk to at all. Fortunately, he still had Dog Egg by his side. Baron was growing fonder of Dog Egg. He often bought him a lot of apples. On the other side, the lonely elderly woman Sue was extremely bored. She turned on the TV to pass the time. The news happened to be reporting on the alien spaceship incident. It included a rough location as well. They would soon begin an investigation, and hoped the public would cooperate. When she saw that the reported location was their village. At this moment, Sue recalled what Baron had said a few days ago. When Baron came to the village committee, he said that he seemed to have a spaceship at home. So Sue decided to check out Baron's house. When she arrived, she carefully crouched by the door to look inside. Sue was startled. Baron really had an alien in his home. Sue directly rang the doorbell. Annie heard someone coming. She quickly ran to the door to take a look. Upon seeing it was Sue, she hurriedly told Baron to hide with Dog Egg. Then, Annie calmed herself and asked Sue what she wanted. Unexpectedly, Sue said directly that she had seen the alien. She urged them not to hide anymore. This was Sue's first close-up observation of the alien. She was very excited at this moment. She was just about to touch the alien, when Baron suddenly slapped her hand away. Baron warned her not to touch Dog Egg without washing her hands. Sue had no choice but to give up. Then, the three of them sat together to discuss. Sue swore to keep the secret absolutely. In the end, she successfully joined the team caring for the alien. Just then, Dog Egg brought out his drawing again. They looked at the 7 puppies in the drawing, and really couldn't understand what it meant. Baron told Annie and the others that he had previously received a drawing with only 1 dog. Could it be that Dog Egg was trying to express something? But he couldn't speak, so he communicated with them through drawings. The 3 elders studied it for a long time, and came to a conclusion. Perhaps Dog Egg wanted to raise many puppies. The next day, the 4 of them gathered together for tea and conversation. A gust of wind blew, and they smelled a foul odor. It was like something had rotted and decayed. Then, they went to the yard to find the source of the smell. A dead cat lay in the yard. Judging by the injuries, it seemed to have been run over by a car. It was clear that Dog Egg had brought the cat back. They stared at each other in shock. Suddenly, Dog Egg handed over his drawing again. A few people finally realized that the painting wasn't puppies, but rather of kittens. Upon further examination, they found that the original drawing had 7 cats. Now it showed 6 cats and a spaceship. After discussing, they truly came to a conclusion that Dog Egg needed 7 cats to repair the spaceship. Although it sounded a bit far-fetched, they have already seen aliens, so this sounds very reasonable. To help Dog Egg repair the spaceship as soon as possible, the 3 decided to help him collect the dead kittens. At this moment, Baron mentioned that his daughter was a veterinarian. He could ask her if there were any deceased kittens, but when his daughter heard Baron's words, she thought his condition had worsened. She didn't want to indulge his nonsense. This made Baron very angry. The 3 had to try their luck by the roadside, because kittens often cross the road. They get struck by speeding cars. On the other side, the police were still unclear about how the thief had died, so they could only search for clues from Annie. Therefore, they sent 2 police officers to guard near Annie's house. When they saw the 3 elderly people driving out, they hurriedly followed them. Then, they got out of the car with shovels. The police thought they were onto something significant, but they didn't expect they were collecting dead cats, and they spent the whole day doing this. The following police officers were very confused. Soon after, Annie and the others returned home, but their harvest was very minimal. They had only found 2, just when they didn't know what to do about the rest. Sue said she had a way to get more. The next day, she indeed brought back 3 more. Now they just needed to find 1 more. Just then, someone suddenly arrived. Sue hurried over to check the situation. What she saw nearly gave her a heart attack. There were several muscular men outside who looked like agents. They instantly realized that their target might be Dog Egg. They were so frightened they didn't dare to breathe. Fortunately, they didn't open the door. The people outside assumed no one was home and left. In an instant, everyone was on edge. The 3 understood they had to find the last kitten quickly. When they were at a loss, Baron suggested using Sue's cat as a substitute. After all, that cat was old and sick. But Sue was very angry after hearing this. She said this cat had been with her for many years. She had always regarded it as family. But Sue also knew that the cat was gravely ill. It had been living in great pain. After much hesitation, Sue agreed to Baron's suggestion. Then she held the cat and let Dog Egg end its life. Because Annie had witnessed Dog Egg's abilities, she found a bowl to cover the kitten's head. Soon, the kitten in her arms passed away peacefully. Everyone was very shocked. It turned out that Dog Egg's ability wasn't solely based on violence. The thief was shot in the head purely because he was doing bad things. Immediately after, they placed the 7 cat corpses in the yard. Dog Egg covered them with a white cloth. Suddenly, all the cat bodies converged towards the center. Then Dog Egg installed this energy entity onto the spaceship. With the energy source, the spaceship instantly powered up. Meanwhile, the space agency detected the spaceship's signal, so they sent many people to search for the spaceship. At this moment, Dog Egg had repaired the spaceship, and was returning to its own planet. Baron and the others came to say goodbye. Sue gave Dog Egg a crystal ball. She told Dog Egg to look at it whenever he missed her. Annie gifted him a handmade sweater. Dog Egg raised his hands in excitement upon seeing the sweater, but Annie said it wasn't for him to wear right now. It was prepared for him for the winter. Then it was Baron's turn. Since he hadn't thought of what to give, he took out his ID card. Dog Egg could look at the photo whenever he missed him. At this moment, Dog Egg unexpectedly invited everyone onto the spaceship. He mimicked Baron's earlier actions quite well. Annie and Sue hadn't reacted yet when Baron shouted that he was willing to go, because he had been living alone. It was truly too lonely. Living on an alien planet with Dog Egg might be quite interesting, but just as he was about to board, he suddenly heard someone calling, so he ran inside to answer the call. It turned out to be his daughter calling. His daughter said she shouldn't have argued with him, to apologize. She decided to take Baron out for a day of fun over the weekend. After hearing this, Baron didn't want to board the spaceship anymore. Just then, the people from the space agency arrived. To avoid being caught, everyone hurriedly ran into the spaceship. Before they could react, they had already arrived at their destination. The few people who got off the spaceship were quite confused. How could this alien place look just like Earth? At this moment, Annie took out her phone, and was surprised to find that the 5G signal was still strong. When they saw the trash on the ground, they finally confirmed that they were still on Earth. Originally, Dog Egg knew that they were reluctant to leave. He had piloted the spaceship here to evade capture. However, he had to leave now, and so, the three watched as the spaceship flew away. The film came to a close. When mentioning aliens, the first thing that comes to mind is the invasion of Earth. But this film portrays the alien as a companion for the elderly. It must be said that this is both ironic and realistic. Today's young people are busy with work, and they rarely realize that the elderly need companionship. Moreover, if something happens while they are home alone, no one cares. Just like when a thief broke into Annie's house. If it weren't for the alien, the consequences would be unimaginable. Many people, as children, easily overlook the loneliness of the elderly. Aside from their own lives, everyone should really take time to spend with family. The performances of the three elderly actors were excellent. They portrayed the spirit of old mischievous children. It was quite interesting. This is certainly much better than the acting of some young idols. Jules is a family film disguised as science fiction. The story is still very heartwarming. I believe it touched the hearts of many people. Overall, it is a very good film. It is definitely worth recommending. If you like my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Your support is the greatest encouragement for me.